What's up, guys? Welcome back to the review space, and today I just want to shortly discuss the return of Cain from last night's episode of Monday Night Raw. Well, Cain is back, and basically he chokeslammed John Cena. And John Cena and Mark Henry, who is world champion, they are having a match, okay? And in the middle of this match, well, I'm sure like the end was coming. Mark Henry ended up giving Cena a world's strongest slam. It kind of bugged me that Mark Henry didn't go for a pin right away, right after the world's strongest slam. And I was like, man, just pin him. You know, he could have fallen on him anyway. I mean, he actually turned away from Cena right after he slammed him. And so I was like, what is he doing? Why didn't he just pin him right on the spot? You know, get a 1, 2, 3. But seeing as how it's Cena and, you know, Super Cena and all that, he probably would have kicked out of the pin anyway. But then the pyro goes off, boom! And then darkness. Alright, and it was pretty obvious because who else's pyro, you know, does that? You know, who else has a pyro like that? And Cain's theme music plays, and, you know, the organs, and the dun, dun, and then he comes out! And with a brand new mask and everything. Actually, it looks more like a helmet. Actually, it's kind of funny because his helmet looks a little bit like the one that Jeff Hardy is wearing. And so, I don't know if you've seen it, you know, how many of you guys watch TNA, but Jeff Hardy wears a similar mask like that. But the thing, too, was that he goes inside the ring, alright? He's got the new attire and everything. He chokeslams Cena. And then he raises his, he does the pose where he raises his hands and then brings it down, and then the fire shoot out of the posts. And it's kind of funny because it seemed like, I don't know what he did, right at the very end, like right after he brought his arms down and then the fires went up, you could see his hand quickly grab his mask, you know what I'm saying, and it looked like it was about to fall off. So I was like, oh no, is that a botch? And then it looked like he was fixing it, like he was fixing the angle of his mask to face the audience, face the camera. And then he slowly took it off to reveal another mask inside, so second mask. And this is obviously the one, you know, his primary mask that he's gonna wear inside the actual ring, you can pretty much imagine. And this actual mask now looks like not his original one, but the one from 2002-ish, you know, maybe 2003, where the mouth part is open, which obviously allows him to breathe easier. Now, personally for me, I did prefer his original version, you know, when he actually debuted, and that particular look made him look like, it made him feel like a movie monster slash type of killer, where I could sort of see him as a, you know, Jason type of character, you know, Jason, Mike Myers, you know what I'm saying, that kind of slasher killer type of character. And of course, eventually he would star in his own movie, See No Evil, and I thought that movie itself was actually, it was alright. I mean, it wasn't, you know, it wasn't the greatest horror movie of all time. It was an alright slasher, you know what I'm saying? And I would definitely like to see a sequel to it, if they're ever planning to make another one. So, this return of Cain, I don't know what's going to happen here now, though, because the thing with Cain is that he's a monster, you know what I'm saying? He was booked as a monster, but after he lost his mask, then he went from being the big red machine to the big red monster, but it was easier to beat him. You know, he wasn't booked as strong. He was kind of booked like, you know, almost like a jobber, but he would win occasional matches. And then I think starting last year, or maybe early last year in 2010, when he, you know, eventually won the Money in the Bank and he cashed it in on the same night, became the world champion. That was very interesting. That made him look pretty strong. You know, he was beating guys like Undertaker, so it sort of put him back, at least at that main event status. And now that he's back, it's pretty obvious that he's going to go up against Mark Henry. I mean, who else would he go up against? I mean, against John Cena? Some people are saying Cena because he slammed him, but I think it really was just him being in the same ring with Cena who was the current person, the current victim at that time. You know, he was Cena just happened to be a victim. It's not like it could have been just about anybody else. That if Mark Henry was facing Evan Bourne, if Mark Henry was well, not Evan Bourne because of his troubles, but it could have been like Kofi or, you know, Randy Orton or Christian or anybody else, and, you know, Kane would have done the same thing. He would have slammed him. So it really was just sending a message to Mark Henry. You know, he's coming for Mark Henry's title, and do I think he's gonna win it? Will he beat Mark Henry if they ever face for the World Championship? I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, they proved that last year they could still make Kane work, but I'm not... he's got a cool look now because the mask is back and everything, and his music, and so it's a very nostalgic character coming back. But I don't know if I actually want to see him as the world champion again. I mean, it's kind of cool to see him as the destroyer, this guy who can totally decimate opponents. But Mark Henry does that anyway, and so I don't know. I think I'd like to see Mark Henry just keep going. You know, just the way that he was able to fend off Big Show, the way that he's able to fend off Randy Orton. Mark Henry should just keep going, and I could definitely see Mark Henry all the way to WrestleMania defending that world title there. So I don't know what they're gonna do with this whole Kane thing. Will Kane win it? I have no idea, but let me know what you guys thought of this, you know, Kane returning. It's definitely an interesting comeback, you know, probably the most, well, to me it was the only interesting that happened last night on the slammys edition of Raw, really. Alright, so let me know what you guys thought in the comment section. You know what I'm saying? Make sure to comment, rate, favorite, add as friend, all that good stuff. And until next time, ciao!